Good evening, folks. This is Steve with his living room layout. And tonight I'm just going to focus on this end of the layout. This is the eastern end. It overlooks the commuter rail through those windows there. And in the reflection, you can see, well, more of the living room. We have up top the High Line, if you want to call it that, or anything else. This is the eastern terminal of the Shinkansen bullet train line. And I'll have a city and a station and all kinds of stuff up there. All right, a couple of power supplies. One for the inner rail here and one for the outer. That way I can control two trains at once if I wanted to. Now, underneath, we have the actual Gray and Grandeur. This is an adaptation of Lynn Westcott's plan number 4 or 11, depending on publication. And it is the first first plan I ever built back in high school. And that survived for many years till I went off tried to go off to college. And then I understand Catzilla jumped from my bed onto the layout with obvious and predictable results. Now I'm going to come down here. It's the smallest freight yard I've had since high school. Maybe room for 20 or so cars. That's about it. This is the interchange yard between the Gray and Grandeur, which is a short line. So here you can see where the interchange takes off from the main line and just comes down and around. Big horseshoe curve there, some industries in the center. Now, I do not know what I'm going to do with that space under this terminal. I don't know whether to just leave it exposed or block it off or make it pretty. I don't know. I didn't use a lot of that white glue. I should not have left it there. Okay. This little black pipe is actually from a roll of printer tape that you would get from a store from most stores. Just their receipt tape. I used to work at CVS, and I have a bunch of those. Will be used as loads. Here you have the main export of the Grandeur Valley, which is Mistrium. And Mistrium is something I came up with because I have low vision, and I will never compete with modelers for accuracy. So I invented something that doesn't exist, so nobody can tell me it's not real. But it works for me. And this is known as Wonky Tower. It's just kind of a bunch of blocks I glued and stuck together, and well, all right. So this is, again, the eastern end, and it literally faces east out those windows. And yes, okay, that's pretty much that part. Here is what I'm calling the southeastern end, as out those windows is due south. Here is the eastern end of the main line, which is a big dog bone loop just for continuous running. I have a excursion train there, so I'll have a station of some sort there. But also this corner will have scenery I can swap out. One of those sceneries will be a very high mesa with my fantasy house, which will be container home with several modules to it. Other might be a small town, village, and another might be perhaps an industry of some sort. Now, beyond all that, we come down here, and yes, another power supply. This controls the main line, and it's good for one train, which is okay. That's fine. I can't handle more than one train at once for the most part. One of my favorite tools, this railroad spike. It was a gift when I was 18, and I have used it for probably 20 different purposes. I don't even know what that is at the moment. All right. Because of my low vision, not everything is ever going to be pretty. I didn't realize I'd left this up here. It's one of my favorite Atlas Jeeps. And that needs to go to the engine track down here. I'll put you on the track. Yes, and I'll knock over the caboose too. Okay. And yes, obviously the trains aren't running on the Shinkansen line yet, but they will be. This is looking down toward the southwest section, and you can see the I've got a couple of trains parked waiting for juice, and I think they can make it through to the far southwest corner, where there will be a tower of some sort. Could be mountains, could be city, could be, oh, big farm there. I don't know. And to the western section, which is basically I'm going to use for experimenting and such, as it's behind a ginormous television, and we really don't need that. Underneath the whole layout, you can see cabinets, and that is what they are. The layout is resting on. They help put all the mess aside and out of sight when things are working properly. Let's see, there's a few more details on the eastern end. One is not really visible at the moment, but it records at 8 a.m. on special days. The sun will line up with a couple of pegs I put out, and I'll create a marker for that person's birthday or solstice or equinox or one of those things. Anyway, a lot of anachronistic content, but that's life. That's, if I like a car, I run it. If I like a locomotive, I run it. I do not worry about, geez, it's my railroad and I'll run what I want. In any case, I hope you've liked this. Tomorrow or the next day, I'll give you details on the southeastern section. Meanwhile, I wish you the best whenever, wherever, and whomever you are.